Oh, we on, babe. Stop playing. We on, man. Hey, welcome. Welcome. Always playing.
Welcome,
Always playing. Always playing.
welcome.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell y'all know what's crazy about this unscripted? We got a different welcoming every time. And that's what makes it so beautiful. Because, you know, it's no knock to nobody who does the routine thing, but this works for us. Like, like, babe, get back, babe. You
I
showing the
had to make
no,
sure.
no, you can't show the chair.
What's wrong with my chair?
Show the chair.
Oh
'Cause
my
you'll
God.
be rubbing your head on the back of the chair, all the leather gone.
Do you need to buy me another one?
Is that the one of the ones that the thing go
This
down
was
to? Yeah.
yeah, remember the live I started with?
See, that's another part of well, that wasn't even unscripted. No, it
Yes, it was,
was.
because Tiffany was like, y'all can get the things.
See, and I think we ordered them right at that. But it's
Right,
funny, we
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 did.
on y'all, and we just
Woo.
over here just having our own little conversation.
Hey y'all. Welcome to
Another day.
another edition of Unscripted Beautiful Life.
Yeah, it's been another fun one though. I already started out amazing. Hope everybody's day was as good as ours.
That part.
Yeah, you're gonna have your good days and your bad
You
days,
will.
you know.
That you
So,
will.
but one thing is you can control it, and if you can't, don't even let it stress you because tomorrow will be a new day.
Yep.
Yeah. But what's our topic for this evening, young lady?
When the thoughts don't stop. So this is coming because this is personal experience, right? Last week it was personal experience, and I'm continuing on. Look at me sharing. Get
Listen,
my
that's what we do.
Alicia said, get my feelings out.
Yeah, get it on
So
out because I got to get it out some way.
I have been in a like I my mind is always going, right? Idea at the idea, thoughts out the thoughts, like it all sticks with me. And so there have been many of nights where I have tried to lay down. My body is tired. I'm physically tired, but my mind won't turn off.
She
And
don't want my response for this one, but
what?
go ahead.
What's your response?
Green Mountain.
Oh my God! Why? I
That's what
hope
I
ain't
said.
nobody on here.
That's that's why I said, but you don't want to know my thoughts on that. But keep
I'm
on
not
going. I'm
with
sorry.
you.
I'm sorry. I'm
I'm
sorry.
not with you. Oh God, how do you come back from this?
Let's keep it going.
um,
It feel dark today.
I thought that too, but
It's all right.
I didn't want to start messing with the lights. Okay, hold on, y'all. It's intermission because I
Oh,
thought
you
that
got a thing.
that's the highest it go.
Then we good. Ooh, set that ambiance lower. Mm, mm,
I
mm,
don't know why
mm,
it's
mm,
lower. It is lower though, because I thought that we'll figure it out later.
mm.
Um, so um, but my mind has been racing. I haven't been able to settle my mind. I've been journaling at night. I've been showering, like all of the different things. Oh my gosh, stop it. All of the different things to just get into a space where I can lay down and go to sleep versus me laying there for like an hour or so and still having all the thoughts going. And that's the conversation.
So it's funny because everybody does this. Everybody does it. Now I want to ask you this question. Remember, I don't know what episode it was. I don't know if we call these episodes. I don't know. Ooh, black light dance, dance, dance. I don't know what we call these. Um, but
Is that better?
one of the topics I believe was turning off your phone at a certain time.
We talked
And
about during this
yeah,
as a part of the self care.
so
Can I? I've, I've
yeah, go ahead.
I've done that.
And so that was what I said because I know I've seen you intentionally do those things where you'll put the phone down
My phone
and
is
have the time.
automatically set.
And then like sometimes she'll be downstairs, and then when you get upstairs, she might not even touch that phone again. Because there's been times where I'll be in the basement, I send her a text message, and it don't go through because it's on unless you got me on an emergency thing, but I don't think she do. But everybody does this. It's either some people do it throughout the day, Some people do it when they're getting ready to fall asleep, and so it keeps their mind going. Uh, I've said this to several people is that a lot of times we be in our own heads.
And I think that's my issue is I'm staying in my head trying to figure out the plan. So last week I shared about like how you think you're going for one plan and then it just so I realized that the thoughts are because I'm trying to figure it out. And for me, that means if I'm trying to figure it out, I'm still trying to control the situation,
Hmm.
that I haven't surrendered it, that I haven't yielded to God and given it over to Him and said, okay, God, I trust you. Like that's where I think a lot of it comes from is that because I'm like, okay, if I got to do this for the kids tomorrow, or do this for the business or do that for myself and do like all of those different things. And it's really sitting in and just understanding, Trina, you can't control anything, even how you want to
Yeah,
plan,
yeah.
right?
Because you could
It's
plan.
never going to work. Like what happened with me, the break I planned for my first week
Yep, yep.
with the kids,
And the whole break she was working on uh plans,
working on the lesson
working on your
plan.
lesson plans.
Get there yesterday, and nope, we need you to go here. So I was like, oh, okay. So everything I just did for the whole week is gone. Yep, pretty much.
So,
Like,
so funny thing that you say this. That's also when the pivot.
and that's why
That's crazy.
that is the when the pivot. But for me, it was I didn't feel the heaviness yesterday, even though
You are you
the
talking about
wrench got
after?
thrown. Like when it was said to me, no, you need
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
go
Okay.
this week instead. Like pretty much throw away, hey beautiful, throw away what I had already planned and start here.
Start
Like
all over
I
again,
didn't
pretty much.
feel the stress that came with me having to pivot.
That's good.
And it is good
Yeah, yeah,
because I
that's
think it was
good.
the preparation. Like just saying, like, even though I still want to plan it,
Right, right.
it's knowing that my 2025 word is pivot and just going with the flow and being in the moment and just like, okay, well, today we just gonna have a little extra
We,
fun. And
what can I do?
tomorrow is a new day. And we
Live in the
go,
moment.
we live in a moment. And we had a great day. Had a great day today picking it up. Like
And you know one thing I'm gonna tell you, them kids ain't know nothing about the fact that you had to pivot.
that was because I had text Kayla and I said, hey, you won't believe this. And she said, Mommy, them kids not gonna know.
They're not gonna have a
She's
clue
like, that's the good thing about it is that kids don't know when the
unless you
plans aren't
stress out.
unless you stress out.
Yep, yep.
So,
Or you start to speak on it.
and you speaking on it. But like today, we were working, we have the smart boards. I told you about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mine's is
Mm-hmm.
glitchy, right?
Of course.
So
You know what we are.
sometimes we could be playing a video and it freezes. Well, there's one reading program where you have to touch the screen to get to the
Yes.
next answers. My screen kept freezing. And the kids was like, not again. I mean, everything we going through. Not again. Misunderstand what's wrong with your boy. Like all of the things. So I said, y'all, we just gonna have fun with this. So I went, got my laptop connected that up to, and we were good.
Just want to give y'all the kind of the backstory. She's probably in a classroom that ain't been used in 30 years. Keep
That's
it
not
up. No,
true. That's
I'm
not true.
exaggerating.
It was a
Exaggerating.
second grade before, but
Maybe 4 years.
no. But it was another example for me to still show and embrace the pivot and move forward and letting it go. So I it was like I'm grateful for the lessons now,
Mm-hmm.
but like to get here, I'm like, oh God, could we have done this a little bit more gently? Like did I have to feel like I was being thrown in the fire?
Man, yes. What gasoline draws on?
Oh
That's
my
how it felt.
gosh.
But you don't even realize the lessons that you also are giving to them kids as well. And that's what's so great about working with the youth because we can sit there and we may be stressing in our minds like going through it,
Mm-hmm.
but they can uplift you to a point where it's like, oh no, I'm doing it for them. You know what I mean? And it's that great feeling of yes, they didn't even care that I had to pivot. But then at the end of the day, it's teaching them, just like Rick told me when I left the soccer kids to go to our marriage retreat. He's like, no, you just taught them a lesson on how important it is to invest in your marriage. And so you're giving them that lesson of, yeah, things aren't going to go the way we want it to go and how we plan it,
Mm-hmm.
but we still got to make it through the day. And we can't allow that one thing to ruin the rest of the day.
Yep.
You know, because like if you allow one thing, like you wake up in the morning and let's just say we drink coffee and the coffee maker is not brewing coffee this morning. You know how many places we can stop to grab a cup of coffee and not stress on it? We don't drink.
I will say that's your
I just
thing.
use it. I just use that as an
But I
example.
get you. I
But
get you.
it's like one of the things I don't have to have. Like I didn't have a cup today, but I kind of been on trying switching over to drinking mushroom coffee, y'all, and it's been good. It's been good. It helps with a lot of things. Not getting no sponsorship, so I won't say your name. uh, but yeah, it's a amazing thing to be able to, yes, it's going to get rough, it's going to get hard, but you just like, I got this, I
And
got
I
this.
think that's the thing you have to keep telling yourself is I do got this. Or and that in the moments that you feel like you don't
Just keep saying
understand that God has it.
yes,
And it's a matter of just
yes.
praying and praising through it, right? Pastor Battle talked about that today. It's like we can pray, right? But also praise for the thing that you're praying for.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're praising for it, you're already giving thanks for it being fulfilled
Yep.
and for it coming. And so when you're thinking about, having the racing thoughts and having those racing minds, the mindset that keeps playing, it's like, one, where did that thought come from?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like you got to really sit and address that. Because if you are holding on to, I did a lot with the limiting beliefs. And going back, God has had me now bring into it, what was the source of that thought?
Mm-hmm.
Was it somebody else's expectation of me? Was it somebody else's thoughts of me? Like, was it my past? Something happened to me. And so, like mama said, you'll never be able to do the X, Y, and Z. And that stuck with me. So
Mm-hmm.
now I won't walk in X, Y, Z. And saying, okay, God, this thought that I have, so I'm praying about the thought. Now I need to cast it down.
Mm-hmm.
And now, God, I'm praising you that now I get to see myself the way that you get to see me. So, like when those thoughts are coming, I have written this down. Um, Shift from overthinking. Oh, where is it? Oh, saying that I'm not my thoughts, right? So whenever that thought is coming, you're saying, God, I'm not this thought. I am your masterpiece. So every time that negative thought comes in, or every time that worry and fear and concern come in, because that's how the thoughts keep going. It's
Yeah,
like when I think
because it
about
just starts with one
it starts with one, but like when I picture your mind, and it's like the a mouse or a gerbil or guinea pig on the
on the
wheel,
wheel, just running
and it's
for
just
no
going,
call.
and it's just going, and it's just going, and that's what our mind feels like when we
There's no
can't
end point.
quiet the noise.
Yeah, it's just constantly running, running, running. Because on that hamster wheel, there's no end point for them. But at the same time, we don't know because we're not in their brain.
We not, but think,
But that's how your mind is.
but that's it's like think about how many conversations we have had in our minds that just how many times you're gonna replay that conversation,
Right.
rewind,
Yeah.
you always
Or
taking it
being
back,
or
and you
trying to
like
change
change.
this
That's what
the
I'm saying.
thing.
If I had said this, then she would have said that.
Yup.
Well, if I did this, then he would have did that. Like it just you like let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Because it
understanding
happened
it
already.
happened already. It's nothing you can do about it. Forgive yourself, forgive the person, like whatever that is, but you have to release it. So it's like when that thought comes, right? Because sometimes I think the thoughts keep popping up because God is trying to get our attention, right?
Uh-huh.
He could be saying, well, what you gonna do about that?
What you
Like
gonna
if
do?
you thinking about this book you supposed to been writing, right? You got a choice that you need to make. Am I going to act on this thought? of knowing I'm supposed to have this book done? Or am I just going to be like, oh, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. And it just keeps coming up. But if it keeps coming up and it keeps coming up in your soul and in your spirit, like, no, I got to do
I
something
gotta
with
do
that.
it. Yeah.
So it's like taking that thought and saying, okay, is it time for me to turn this into an action? If not, is it time for me to
Let it
release it?
go. Turn it into action. And so the other thing was, it's like so, and I kind of think you really already touched on it. Was some of these thoughts that's constantly going, and it's just not just you. This is just everybody and me speaking. If it's something that's like, let's just say it's your spouse, it's your brother, it's your sister,
Oh,
and those thoughts are that you fixed it.
I just turned the brightness on the computer.
And those thoughts are constantly going, right? Do you act on it? Do you say something? Or do you let it be? Because like you say, if you letting it be, then it's the thoughts is constantly still there. So how's the best way of going about trying to get that thought out your head? Because if
I,
not, if you don't speak on it, then it's going to constantly be there,
I
right?
think you got to sit with it. I think you have to sit with the thought and go back to what we had talked about. What was the source of it? Is there truth in this?
True.
Right? So if there's truth in this, what am I going to do about it? Am I going to accept it and just realize there's nothing I can do or change? Right? How I'm feeling, the thought that I'm have, or am I going to say I'm tired of carrying this thought with me over and over and over again, and now God, I need you to help me
Help me out.
release it?
Yeah.
Because
Probably
I
got to go through every last one of them steps.
you definitely got to go through all the steps. I think you definitely have to sit with it. It's like you got to think about the thought, like, okay, why do you keep coming here? Like, why you keep knocking on my door?
True.
Right? And if it's knocking, okay, is there any truth to the thought that you're having? And if so, God, what options do I have? Right? Because I think sometimes the thoughts come and we're like, it keeps us complacent, it keeps us stuck.
Mm-hmm.
The thoughts could cause us to settle, right? For things that we weren't meant to
Thought,
settle
hey,
for.
thoughts can also have you act out in a way that you never thought that you will actually act out as well,
Yep.
because you're fighting your thoughts, and then again it'll make you feel as though that you're not worthy because you're in there fighting your thoughts. And it's a hey man, that's a good one.
So I gotta find it. It's 2 Corinthians 10.
Hey, I like that little situation.
What?
And that's the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just was able to go to a chapter and click it and it popped up. I like that. That's
You obviously you don't spend time in your Bible.
not a, not I don't have no I don't have an app
What
Bible.
is it? Hold on. Um, I cannot think of it. Deron had us memorize. What is that script? It is. It's the okay. So I think that the one thing is our our pastor had taught us a long time ago when we were dealing with the thoughts and how we have to take those thoughts and make them obedient to Christ. So we have to take them captive and make them obedient to
Okay.
Christ. And the scripture is 2 Corinthians 10:5. And it says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. So it's like every time that thought comes, you got to sit with God with it and saying, okay, God, is this true about me from your
From your
perspective?
perspective,
Right?
yeah.
Because if you're saying about me and your flesh might be saying, yeah, that is about you. You know, your mama said you couldn't do it. But God is saying, no, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true about you, daughter, or that's not true about you, son. And so now you got to go to God. Okay, help me transition, help me reframe my mindset and my thought so that I don't feel that this thought that this negative belief, this limiting belief is true.
I like it.
So that's where it's to take captive every thought and make it obedience
Yeah.
to Christ. Like if God was sitting right here, would I still would if I'm telling him, God, I feel broken,
Right.
or if I feel whatever,
Mm-hmm.
he can be like, you might be feel broken. However, I heal, I
Right.
restore, I renew, like that type of thing. That's how you got to go to with all of the thoughts that you have, and just talk to God, talk to Jesus about, and be like, listen, God, this is what I'm feeling, this is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm experiencing, this is what I think about me, and allow the stillness to settle your spirit, to give you the peace, to allow you to be able to say, no, this is not true about me. And so now, God, help me release it.
Man, I was trying to read it.
Oh, I'll put it up here. That's good, Kiana.
Yeah.
If addressing that thing will be productive, then address it and let it go. If it's not productive, then pray to help to God to help you through it and help you address it in a way that will give him the glory. That's that part right there. Hey, beautiful. That's definitely it, because I think sometimes we will have the tendency to think we're addressing it, and what, like, no,
We're addressing it
it
on our own, and not
not even
bringing
necessarily on our own, but we think we can handle it
okay
in
in
our
your own thoughts.
minds,
Right. Right. Right.
and I'm
Gotcha.
like, oh, I got this, but then something triggers it, and then it come right back, and you got this. You done did a little journal prompt,
Yeah.
and it's gone for the moment. 5 minutes later, somebody
Coming back.
come and
Yeah.
said whatever. Oh, I got this. Let me go journal. Let me go pray. Let me go do. And then it keeps coming back. Like, it's a continual thing. But there are things, there are going to be thoughts, there are going to be beliefs, because of maybe trauma that we experience,
Mm-hmm.
that are not just something that are
That you
going to
could do on your
easily go
own.
away on
Yeah.
our own.
Yeah. You're gonna need some
Like,
assistance
there's
with it.
God, but then sometimes there's going to be those moments when you got to call on the professionals. Like, I need to go sit on somebody's couch, because this
Yeah.
thing right here has got me in a chokehold so bad that I can't get from underneath of
Right.
it.
It can do. It's gonna continue doing more harm than it's doing good.
Yep.
So let me go, because like you said, you relinquished to God, and it's still it still feel like a burden on you,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's when you may have to seek that professional help, because a lot of times we might go to our best friends and things like that, and they may still not even be able to help, and a lot of times could possibly make it worse.
That's true.
So
That's
it's
true.
like, first and foremost, let's sit and talk with God with it, and I was just telling my director this earlier. I said, man, my homeboy called me, and we just was talking about some things, and I was explaining to him that I had second guessed him for a long time, but it was one of the things where now that where I am, where I sit now, it's like God wants us to talk to him like we talk to our friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing wrong with sitting there and just having a whole conversation with him and just talking to him and just asking him questions, because he's going to answer you. He's going to talk to you, and it's funny because Alicia always says that for her, God talks to her through numbers, people, and things like that, right? That's what she realized. And you have to see what that is for yourself, because somebody, God may talk to them through animals, where a bird lands on the porch, and you're like, man, I ain't never seen this bird on my porch before, but that's a sign, and it's not, these aren't coincidence things, y'all. Like, this is what the great thing about that good man is that he gives it to us, but then we a lot of times might be so engulfed in the world of life that we miss it.
I think it's because we have an expectation of what we think it should look like,
Yeah, there
right?
you go. There you go.
And like, I'm looking for the red car, right? Because I'm praying about the red car. But then God, oh, it's a blue one. That shows right there.
Yeah.
But because I'm looking for red, I don't see the blue when
Right.
I'm looking at.
I'm blinded
I'm
because of the
blinded
red.
by it,
Yeah.
right? And
Or
so
just anything. You know what I mean?
it goes, back to the idea that when we are, praying something or asking God for the desires and things of that nature, we have an expectation of what we want, but never realizing that what God has for us is so much better.
It's so much better than what we only want for
So
ourselves.
much better.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of us not settling into the idea of what we think is
Yeah.
best, but saying, God, give me your best.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like, no matter how long that takes. Because I think that's the other thing too, is
Just
that
try to rush it.
we try and rush it. We
Or-
try and rush the process. We try and rush, like, okay, we done been married 5 years. We supposed to have 3 kids by now, you know, what have you. Like, we rush the process, but not understanding that if we're not mentally and spiritually
ready.
prepared
He's
for the
ready.
journey, then God can't really give us what we want.
what
Because
we
he
want.
like, well, you
Yeah.
trying to settle for this. But if you give me another month or a couple years,
Or
then
you give me your all, I can give you the abundance.
yeah.
Because
Hey
a
sis.
lot of us teeter. We teeter. And I say this because in this real life, some people only call on God when they need him or when they at their worst. Not when they already have what they feel like they need. You know, like when we at our worst, we're like, God, please. Because I listen, I'm gonna tell y'all this story, and y'all know a lot of y'all that may have drunk. Y'all had said this same thing. If you get me through this one, God, I ain't drinking again. But then you turn around, you do it again, and you do it again. We've had those that drink. You did said this before. But
It ain't even
it's
just
that
drink. He
same,
like,
it's
oh, this trouble.
anything.
God, if you just get me out this one situation.
That's why I say it's anything,
It's
and
anything.
we call on him when we are at our worst. Nah, he wants you to call him when you are at your best as well. What happened?
I ran out of paper
Ran
on
out
the
of paper?
printer. Sorry. I'm sorry. The thing popped up.
So he wants us to rely on him, to call on him at our as when we feel as though we are at our best times as well. And then don't shun them away. Then
That's
stick
when you
with
supposed
them.
to dig in even
That's
more.
even more.
Yep.
Because guess what's gonna happen? He's gonna start giving you signs, and it's gonna be like, damn, I'm going backwards. Nah, you're not going backwards. You just lost sight of him because you was already, I'm here, so I'm good. I don't need him. Nah, bro, watch this. Pull this rug. Let me pull this rug real quick because guess what? You losing sight of me, bro. You losing sight.
Who said this?
So yeah, I don't know, but like I said, baby, I don't
No,
know what I'm saying until I'm finished talking. And because
Did Alicia tell me?
it's
Somebody
him.
just told me this. Oh, it was. So I talked about not feeling imbalanced, right? Because with the new year, how things have shifted. And so I just feel like I'm all over the place. And her response was, I feel like I'm all over the place because God is I'm in a new season.
Mm-hmm.
And so how I had balance in one season isn't the same level of balance that I need to have for the next season.
Right.
And so I am in preparation mode for my next. And so I have to let go of the fact, but I found balance. I was able to work it out. You know, I could fit everything into my routine. But now it's understanding that for the next thing that's coming, this is that preparation. And so now that means a lot more stillness, a lot more getting quiet, being still, a lot of internal work, because obviously, like, he's getting my attention because I fell out of balance, but I'm out of balance because of what's required for next.
That's it.
Kenny just heard a little less.
Don't call on me. Talk to him.
Nikki,
I'm talking to him.
Nikki
like
said call on him and
though.
don't be making negotiation. I'm trying to make a negotiation, Nikki. Like, God, can you just ease it just a little bit?
But again, if you do that, he'll release a little bit, but then again, he ain't gonna be able to give you the whole full abundance.
That's what I'm saying. I need the full thing.
So you gotta allow him to continue spreading your wings.
Yep, he is stretching, Alicia.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of said allow you to keep spreading your wings, because it's so funny. A bird has never flew a day in his life. right? My bird don't teach them how to fly. They just know when it's time to leave the nest. Craziest thing in the world. How? How do you know that I'm not gonna fall to my death? How do I know I'm not gonna fall to my death when I leave this nest? Because I ain't never flew. I haven't flown out of this nest. My mother been feeding me, and it's the same thing with that. It's like God's feeding you, and sometimes we leave the nest too early.
I love your examples. Like that one was good.
Man, I'm telling you, I don't. This stuff don't come up from me. I
I
give
know the
all
way
the
he gets. I know.
I give all him the glory because I just put that together just now. But like I said, but sometimes we need to leave the nest just a little bit too early, and then we fall. We don't die. We break a wing, so now we gotta go back in the nest and sit for a little bit to heal the wing. When if you'd have just waited a little bit longer, you would have been able to fly and go, and then come back to visit the nest. And I don't know if y'all know this. I learned a lot about birds in a situation that I had at my job. How do because this is how God has created us as humans, as animals. All right. Let's go. I'm gonna jump to the sea real quick about sea turtles. All right. Then I'm gonna go back to the bird.
Welcome to Dan.
Unscripted. And this is her life every day. We jump around. And was it who did that jump around? That was Chris Cross, right? Yeah. So a sea turtle, right? They don't lay eggs in the sea. They lay eggs on land. How does a sea turtle know where water is if he ain't never been to water? Because they lay the eggs on land. And guess what they do? They call it, I guess they call it the Great Migration when they all go running to the sea. But all of the sea turtles don't never make it. Some of them perish because it's nature. That's just how it is. And then you go back to the bird. A bird has never flown, doesn't know any sense of directions, but knows how to fly back to where he was born. Craziest thing in the world. It's all instincts. This is how God created us. This is how God created animals. We have these instincts, and it's just crazy. Like
It's
how and I don't want to say crazy, but it's just we kind of lost our inner intuition.
I was about to say it's
Yeah.
it's listening to our gut. It's listening to that intuition. Like it says when women's intuition, listening to that and like if it just don't feel right, then it's off,
Mm-hmm.
right? And accepting that, receiving that, allowing that, because obvious it's like your intuition is like your warning radar. Like, oh,
Spider senses.
your spider senses, like you ever been in a conversation with somebody and that radar just went off and you're like, you're talking a whole lot of BS right now. Like in your
In
mind,
your
you
mind, you
saying
saying
that.
that. Yeah.
Sometimes we might verbally
I
say
about
that
to say,
too.
I
But
about
I'm
to say, you might have to spit that thing out
you
one time.
right.
Hey,
But
dog, this BS, bro.
when
Keep it,
that
cut it out.
when that radar goes off, like, nah, something don't feel right. Right. Like I can't we can't have this conversation anymore. Like the energy is now shifted.
Shifted. It's
And
gone.
so if you learn to quiet the thoughts, quiet the noise, that's in you and around you,
I think it's more so around you, because then that inner noise will slow down as well.
that is true.
That's just my opinion on it.
That is true. I think when we can do that, that's when we can start getting centered, getting grounded, like really leaning into who he has created us to be and what he's created us to do, because we've been able to quiet the noise.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna give you another one. I just told my director this earlier, right? I heard you might have heard this too, that we all have a purpose. Okay. When life comes, right, and we make a baby, there's a million sperms racing to one egg. Right or wrong? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I know that everybody who makes it has a purpose in life. Because if there's a million sperms swimming to one egg, only one sperm can penetrate and actually fertilize this egg, right? You already won the race of life. So you have a purpose. for being here because you won the race of life already. Because you could have been flushed down the toilet, left in the condom. You could have been stealing your dad's insides.
Oh,
It's
sir.
yeah, we going there.
We
We going there. But that's just what it is though. When I was and Daryl was like, dang, I ain't never think of it like that. I said I never thought of it like that until I heard someone break it down like that to where it's a rat race inside of it. And you won it already of life because now you are producing. And then you get to now enjoy being created. We miss the point of being able to enjoy being created.
like, when's the last time we said, God, thank you for creating me?
I say it every morning when somebody asks me how you doing. I say, man, I thank God every morning for waking me up, Joe. I'm being honest, man. They be like, you say that every day, Drake. Yes, because somebody didn't wake up this morning. I was able to put my feet down and stand on my 2 feet and walk out my door and come to work. So I give him blessings for that. I
Well, I
appreciate
mean,
that.
I would say take it even further, not just for waking you, but for creating
And
you in
and period.
general.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you think about like you were created for something or someone else. Like to be able to say, God, thank you for creating me as me.
It's me.
As me.
And being your authentic self
That part.
and not trying to be somebody that the world wants you to be. Because if you allow society to tell you that you're supposed to be this, this, and this, then you're gonna stay in your head. You're gonna stay in your head because you don't believe who you are. Like that's why I would say you should be able to stand in the mirror, butterball, and love every piece from the head all the way down to the big toe that don't that's misfunction like my joint. I still love it. And you should be wondering why I walk around with my flip-flops on with no socks. Because I love myself from
My
the top to the
gosh.
bottom. Even my little bald spot in the middle that my kids get on me about. you know, but I was not always like this, man. I felt like the ugly duckling of the family. I'm just keeping it 100, but where I'm at now, I sure off at the beach, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because it's because you gotta be comfortable in your skin. It's hard. It's hard to say it, but it takes that. It takes time. It takes confidence. You understanding that, man, you are great because God created you. You won the race already.
I would take it even a step further beyond the confidence piece. I think it's just understanding that you are you, regardless of whether anyone else is approved or not.
Man,
Because how many times have we
man.
downplayed and dimmed our light because we didn't want to shine because we thought, well, if I come as light bright, right, then somebody's gonna
Somebody
have an
going,
issue.
mm-hmm.
Somebody gonna say something. Well, who does she think she is? Oh no. Now,
I
hey,
don't care.
beautiful, how you doing? Right, like you just gotta understand, like that's where it's owning who you are,
Yep. Very
who
into
God
you.
created you to be, love handles, every stretch mark, like all
Whatever it is.
the beautiful parts of you.
Missing teeth,
Missing teeth.
all that.
Right.
Just
I don't want no missing teeth though, babe.
man, I got him. I got him. I still be smiling, Joe.
But it's
Still be
all
smiling.
about that's the beautiful piece of it, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
embracing every inch of you, the flaws and
And
all.
all. Yeah, don't
Because
try to
in
don't try.
God's eye, there is no
Nah,
flaw.
ain't no flaw. You ain't got no flaw.
The flaws came up because of somebody's limiting belief or an expectation, whatever it is. It came up. Well, it came up, but it's not true.
It's not true.
So why are we still holding on to it?
Just let it go. And then like we sit here and we say it a lot of times. It seems easier. It's not easy. Like I say all the time, man, life was easy. Everybody be billionaires, and all this. It's
It
going to take you to really sit with yourself
it's that part.
and say, man, I am great because God created me.
It's
I won the race.
yep.
So now it's time for me to enjoy every piece of how God created me And like I said, once you get to that confidence and it's up here, and you running around, and you don't lose sight of them. Don't lose sight of
It's
them.
when you talk about that, I don't know if it was either in day one or day two. I'm reading The Power of I Am because that's
Okay.
what God sending me to go.
Did you
Um,
read that already?
no, that's mine.
Oh, you say you're reading it?
I'm reading it.
Okay,
God is
okay,
having me work through it again.
okay.
And one of the things I had stated in there is who are you when no one is looking? And that person is who you need to be at all times. Because we all know, like, okay, when you at home by yourself and your favorite song come on, you cutting up like your dance is different. Not well, not you, because you're gonna be you, but you weren't always. But I'm just
No,
saying.
no, no. I wasn't always that
But
at
that's
that
what.
to that
So
point.
now
Yeah,
you are
yeah,
right.
yeah,
But
yeah.
for some, for a lot, for us, when we are initially thinking about something, like when we look at ourselves in the mirror, or when we are in our action, like we're one way privately
That's
than
totally
we are
different.
publicly.
Yep.
Because publicly we think, well, if I am, if I show my flaws or I show my quirkiness,
Yeah.
then they're not gonna receive me. They're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
like me. Da 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 da.
You can stay, but that's
That's
again,
in your
you up in
mind.
here with it,
That's in your mind.
because even though they may think that, is that your truth?
That's the part we have to
Is that your
evaluate.
truth?
Is is that your truth,
Right.
not the truth, your
Right.
truth,
Your truth.
right? Because how you feel about yourself may not have nothing to do with her, right? Because she may feel that way because she don't like you. Who she thinks she
Or
is?
she don't like herself, or he don't like himself.
Is that use most times when you have a situation that somebody doesn't like you, is because there's a reflection of you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this: there's a reflection in them in you that they haven't been able to
To fulfill,
adopt
yeah,
about
100%,
themselves,
100%.
right?
And
And
that's where that
so
jealousy and envy come in a lot of the time.
that's where the jealousy
So
and
you
envy
gotta
comes in.
you gotta understand and feel this energy, because you will honestly, if you once you get in tune with yourself like you supposed to be, you will feel when someone has negative energy around you,
Yeah,
because the world is filled with energy, and you can walk in a room, right, and you could be the brightest light, but if somebody got negative cast energy on you, your light will dim, and you will feel that. And so
you
you can
feel the
make
pull.
you will feel it. And
Yep,
so
you
it's
feel the
one or two
pull.
things that you could do in those situations. You could leave the room, or you could turn your light all the way back up, because you get to control your dimness.
Your hair is really blending into the green screen. I mean it.
It might be green. I might have died. Oh nah, babe, making me look great. But
Sorry, I didn't mean to digress.
nah. Dang, I forgot what I was saying.
See, my bad. My bad.
I did. I lost it. But it's all good. It's all good, because it might not have been important.
It no, this was a good. So I just wanted, for tonight's conversation, figure out what your routine needs to be before you lay down or as the thoughts are coming, so that now you can cast those thoughts down. Like, do you need to turn your cell phone off before you go to bed, like an hour or so before you go to bed? Like, I have the iPhones have sleep mode where you can set it so an hour before whatever you are setting your bedtime as, that your phone will go into sleep mode an hour
Before
before
that,
the
okay.
bedtime.
So when I hear that with a little lullaby,
That's what, yes, the
that's
lullaby sound.
is that the hour going into it, or is that now it's
It'll
in the
give
sleep
me a
mode?
ding to say it's getting ready to
Okay, all
go
right.
into, like, I
Because I done
have an
heard it several
hour.
times. Yeah, I done heard it
Yeah.
several times.
So I would say that. I would say limit your social media time.
You
Now
should
hold on.
limit that throughout the day.
But not between 8 and let's say 8 and 9 o'clock
This
on
ain't social
Tuesday
media.
nights.
This ain't social media. This ain't social media, y'all. This is unscripted beautiful life,
It's
and
just displaying on social media.
that's
And
it. Because
right.
we can't do it live yet. But we're gonna have a show one
There you
day.
go back to that.
We're gonna have a show one day. Back when Martin Lawrence had his TV talk show. He started as a radio host, right? And by the time he was almost at the end, he had his own talk show.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Stop. So figure out, take your pause, right? Get off your social media if you have to. Stop the scroll. Like limit your activities, because I think that when we can scrolling and we see people lives, because right, everybody gonna put up what they want to put up. They only gonna put up the
They're
good
only gonna
stuff.
put up the goods.
Then you won't have the thoughts of, well, why can she do that and I can't, or why she got this and I whatever, right?
Comparing.
Comparison,
That's it. That's
right?
what happens.
Sit and journal before you go to bed. Do a thought dump. Like, just take a piece of paper and journal every single thought that's crossing your mind before you go to bed. Don't worry about, are you going up the hill, down the hill on a piece of paper? Does it make sense?
Just do it.
Just write. Because if you can get it out of your head onto paper, or do a voice memo if you have to, whatever it is, get it out of your mind so that when you do lay down, or before you walk into that meeting, because right, sometimes the overwhelming anxiety happens when we got a big meeting or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever you need to do to settle yourself, right? We already know pray. We already know get still. We know to get quiet. But now praise through it. God, I thank you for peace of mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Affirm yourself. So now this is, here's the affirmation I wrote. My mind is at peace because I trust God's plan for me.
You
If
write
I
that?
if I can't, why you act like I can't write?
No, babe. Listen. I didn't say anything like that. I love that.
Oh,
I love it.
because if I can trust the plan, not even, let me take it a step further. I'm going to say believe and trust
Yes.
the plan.
Because you can trust it and then have no belief in it whatsoever.
Right. That.
Was that you just something with that foolishness?
Yes, that was him. If we can learn to say, God, I surrender it all. I'm releasing it all to you. God, I need peace of mind. And I trust and believe you for it. Then I'm starting to praise. Like, I'm going to have my own praise party, because I know the thing that I pray for, the thing that I praise for, he's going to do.
Yep. And don't put a time limit on it.
Don't put a time limit on God.
Don't put a time limit, because you could wake up the next morning and it be there, or it could be a couple months.
Yeah.
It could be a couple years. Don't put a timeline on it, good man. Just continue praying on it. Continue talking to him. And for those that like myself, I don't like to write. I don't like to journal. I don't like to do any of these things. You can journal to God just talking to him. Just talking to him. I have to talk to those that don't do these things, babe, because everybody don't journal.
I know.
So
But
I'm talking to those that don't.
But that's not why I looked at you, because I know you don't journal, but I also know when you do start journaling, man, God gonna work.
He's already been working, man.
No. It's
And
like
you
on
know
a
that.
different. It's on. Maybe you'll get the little journal book that we trying to do finished if you could sit down and just look at it. Like, I just feel like
This my book right here.
No, that's not it. It's on your phone. I'll resend you the link, because obviously you've lost it. But listen, whatever your practice is for getting the thoughts under control, go back to 2 Corinthians 10:5, 10:9, 10:5. What is it? Hold on. 10:5. Go back to that scripture. Hold on to that scripture, because anytime that negative thought comes in, God, what's the truth in this? What do you believe and say about this? And if he says, nope, that is true about you, then you need to adjust and ask him to show you how to fix it. But if he tells you, nope, there's no truth in that, then you need to release it, right? Do that. Do your word dump or your thought dump before you go to bed. Like, just write whatever is going through your mind. Whatever you need to do to find a peace of mind, that's what you need to do. And I'm saying this to myself as I'm saying it to you, because I'm hoping I can get some more sleep, because I am not thinking as much. So I need to pull out the diffuser with the lavender.
It used to be me for my snoring. I ain't glad it ain't me for my snoring no more.
But this is our conversation on thoughts and how to quiet them. So but again, if you got ideas, what works for you, put it in the chat. Come back to the replay. if you travel, we're suggesting, or you got some like, hey, none of that is working. Here's, whatever.
Man,
Do
shoot
that
it
too.
to us.
So
'Cause like I said, we are one big family in here, and we like to hear y'all thoughts and stuff, and we'd like to hear your topics, and we like to discuss them. And I always put our disclaimer in there that we're not doctors, we're not therapists, we just two couples that's been through it and still going through it, trying to
yeah.
help others. And we definitely love y'all for being here with us and supporting us through this. Cause it would be hard to continue talking to nobody if we didn't see anybody in the chat. So thank you, chat. Thank you, good peoples. As the YouTubers, my son always say this. He talks in. You ever listen to him? He be like, "Hey, what's up, chat?" Listen to Ari does it too. They
Listen,
now,
chat.
yes, they talk as if they're podcasters or something like that. So they
Come
like,
on.
yeah. But it's I love it. I love it. But yes, y'all, thank you again for joining us on another Tuesday Unscripted. Beautiful life. It's been fun. It's been magical.
So we'll see